Welcome to the ACCA Strategic Business Leader Pre-seen Debrief for 2025 December examination session. So I'm your tutor Salman Faris, and as usual we'll be doing a debrief for the SBL paper. When it comes to the debrief, I'll be taking you a debrief into a couple of stages. Now this will be a pretty comprehensive analysis. First, I'll be taking you through the overall content of the pre-seen, and then we'll be doing a SWOT analysis, and next we'll be looking into various misalignments, because there's a high chance the examiner will probe and ask you to critically evaluate the organization. So in the pre-seen we will be able to identify certain areas which mismatch with what the organization should have. So I'll be pointing out towards them. However, keep in mind the examiner has specifically stated to not predict your final exam questions based on the pre-seen, because in the exam you will be getting the next set of information which is typically called the post-seen, or else he'll be giving them in the form of exhibits. So your tasks in the exam are directly linked with the exhibit. However, you have to keep the pre-seen information in mind, because your role here is on a very senior level. So you'll be an advisor, a consultant, a senior manager, perhaps a director. So when you identify a problem and when you need to provide a solution, you have to ensure you consider the overall organization as well. You cannot give a solution for a problem where you solve this problem, but this creates other problems. No, that cannot be done. So as a senior personnel, when you address a situation, you have to consider the wider stake, and you have to consider the impact in the long term. So this is why the pre-seen matters a lot, because the pre-seen gives you a comprehensive information on what the organization is about, their business model, their processes, and also information about the industry and the country. So the pre-seen should be thoroughly analyzed. So you make use of the pre-seen in formulating your answer in the final exam. So this time the SBL paper has been towards the hotel industry. So what I'll be doing first is I'll be going through the whole paper, but in a different manner. I usually say my students, the first read of the pre-seen should be done personally. You read the pre-seen and personally note down the major information given in the pre-seen. You have to do this for the whole paper. Once you finish off the first read, you have to go through your personal notes and see whether is it making sense or not. So when you read your personal notes, you should be able to recall the information given in the pre-seen. If you are unable to, that means you have not properly read the pre-seen. So this is important. Right? So similar, I have done a very similar exercise here where I had gone through the pre-seen in my first read, and I just put out the information I observed in the pre-seen. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is where, based on your notes, you create a SWOT where you identify the internal business strengths and weaknesses, as well as from the external environment you find opportunities and threats. So that is the end of our debrief. However, I have also added another third part where I have noted down certain unique issues, certain pain points the organization is facing, which could be areas that could be of help in the final examination. So I'll take you through the first stage, which is understanding the information given in the pre-seen. Right. So the organization under consideration is Levwell PLC. So it's a listed company. So we'll be calling it as Levwell. It is a hotel chain in the country of Estland. So it's not an independent hotel, it's a hotel chain. It owns and operates 35 high quality 4-star hotels throughout the country. So it's operating throughout the country. It has 35 hotels, all of them 4 stars. And the target market aimed is for leisure guests. So that's the brief introduction given in the pre-seen. So first of all, let's look at the industry information, the hotel industry information. Hotels provide short-term accommodation. So hotels are a service which provides short-term accommodation, and the clients are referred to as guests, so you'll be familiar with this term, guests. Hotels provide many facilities. The major facility is about providing accommodation. On top of that, they have diversified their services. They have added auxiliary benefits to their guests, which includes restaurant where they provide meals, bars, swimming pools, fitness centers, spa and beauty treatments, and even they also provide a rental space for private arrangements, including weddings and conferences, and also for business meetings. So hotels are nowadays not just a place to rest, but also it provides these additional facilities. When it comes to the industry, the hotel industry in the country of Estland, they can categorize their guests into two types. First one is business guests. Business guests are guests, customers who stay in a hotel for work purposes. So they stay in a hotel for business purpose, for work purposes. And they value convenience and productivity when they select a hotel to stay. The next category are leisure guests, where the purpose of staying is for personal reasons, like on vacation. So they value the facilities provided, the atmosphere, the environment, because they are mainly here to relax and enjoy the stay. So if you look at leisure guests, we discussed earlier, our company is mainly targeting leisure guests. And leisure guests are typically price sensitive than the business guests. And the stay is also comparatively longer than the business guests' stay. Hotels are typically exposed to a rating system where a 1 to 5 star rating is used to classify hotels in Estland. 1-star hotel is a basic hotel, and the 5-star hotel is the highest quality hotel where they provide very good accommodation. Who provides these ratings? In Estland, the ratings are awarded by inspectors from the National Tourist Board. Okay? So the particular public body is called Visit Estland, which does this. So ratings are awarded based on many features. One is room quality, which includes room size, room range, quality of facilities, service quality, which is about the staff service provided throughout the hotel stay, and as well as other facilities provided, as we discussed earlier, from restaurants to bars to swimming pools to spas, fitness centers. So these are also a criteria that affects the rating of the hotel. For us to have a rough picture, this table will provide us information on what sort of facilities would make you eligible for the different ratings from 1 star to 5 star. As you can see, 1-star hotels typically provide just a guest room. And for a hotel to be rated 2 stars, on top of guest room, they also should have provided a private bathroom as well as providing a breakfast meal. 3 stars hotel, on top of that, would be providing a restaurant, a bar where they offer food and drinks, as well as wide range of other amenities, like amenities within the hotel, within the guest room, including TVs, ironing equipment, Wi-Fi, complimentary tea and coffee facilities. And we discussed earlier, Levwell has 35 4-star hotels. So what do they provide? Additionally, they provide, in addition to 3-star hotels facilities, they also provide other leisure facilities for guests, like swimming pools, fitness centers, spa and beauty treatments. And 5-star hotels, our company has not yet owned and run a 5-star hotel, but 5-star hotels have this additional facility where they provide world-class luxury like personalized services, chauffeurs, as well as fine dining restaurants. So we are currently here. Okay. If you look at the hotel industry structure in Estland, It's a mixture of hotel chains as well as independent hotels. Now guys, the examiner will give you detailed information about the industry. Keeping in mind there can be full-time students who might not have proper understanding of how the business works. And the examiner specifically stated to rely only on the information given in the pre-seen. So whether you are a full-time student or a working student, you have to rely only on the information given by the examiner. Do not bring out outside information to the pre-seen. Yes, you might sometimes have practical experience in this particular industry. That experience, that first-hand experience could be used to analyze the pre-seen better, but do not bring it to the case. If you bring that to the case, in very objective terms, you are bringing information which is not presented by the examiner. You are a senior consultant, this information is presented by the company to you, and you are bringing information, considering information which is not provided by the company, which could be a falsified information. So do not bring personal information not given in the case to your answer script. Okay? Right. So if you look at the hotel industry in Estland, that it has a mixture of hotel chains and independent hotels. Hotel chains, as the name says, it's a chain of hotels where they operate a number of hotels. And normally a hotel chain will share the same brand name throughout its multiple hotels. And often it has standardized designs and quality standards. So when it has a standardized operation, guests will find very similar experience in the different hotels that goes under the same brand name. Hotel chains typically have a single website where guests can make bookings for any of the hotels in the chain. Let's say a particular hotel chain has 30 hotels, 30 outlets, 30 branches. But they won't have 30 websites for them. They will have one centralized website, which is also good for the company, because see, if a customer is pretty happy with his first experience, he could also find out where our other outlets are. And the company finds it easy to gather all of its customers and potential customers into one platform. Next is independent hotels. Now, independent hotels are hotels that operate a single hotel. They operate independently, which allows greater flexibility. And this enables hotels to offer a unique experience to guests. However, they cannot benefit from the economies of scale which are available to hotel chains. Let's look at the impact and changes. The hotel industry in Estland has the below impact as well as the changes that has been occurring recently. Number one, independent hotels hold a significant part of the Estland market. So out of the hotel market, we discussed independent hotels and hotel chains. As at in 2024, 48% of the supply of guest rooms is held by independent hotels. However, in recent years, hotel chains have been acquiring independent hotels, and larger hotel chains have been acquiring smaller hotel chains. And because of this, larger hotel chains keep on expanding by predating smaller chains, acquiring independent hotels. The competition intensity is increasing between the hotel chains. And hotel chains in Estland have also increased their numbers through organic growth, meaning on top of acquiring, they also have started their new outlets organically, where they opened up new hotels. And there are also hotel chains which have engaged in partnership arrangements, especially franchise arrangements, where they find a franchisee and allow the franchisee to utilize their name, their business model, completely replicate them in return for a royalty. So here we identify, so far both independent hotels and hotel chains have significant prominence in the hotel industry in Estland. However, hotel chains has a trend of expanding through acquisition as well as through organic expansion. If you look at business models, there are two main operating models for hotels in the country of Estland. As we were discussing, when it comes to the business models of the hotel industry in Estland, there are two main operating models. One is there are hotels which runs which is run by their owner themselves, it's owner managed. And there are also hotels that runs on a franchise basis, where the franchisee gets the license and approval from the franchisor to run the franchise's business. In return, they provide a payment. So if you look at the owner managed businesses, the owner controls and manages all the relevant hotel operations and is wholly responsible for developing strategies and performing. If it's a franchised business, those hotels will involve a fee-based agreement where the original owner, the hotel chain, the franchisor, will have an agreement with the party who runs the hotel, which is the franchisee, the third party operator. The franchisee pays a fee to franchisor for the use of the brand name and the systems, because the franchisee will replicate exactly what the franchisor does, and franchisor would also provide the needful, because the franchisee uses the franchisor's brand name. And the franchisee has to follow the franchisor's standards on product and service quality to uphold the franchisor's brand. 5 largest hotel chains in Estland accounts for 23.1% of total supply of hotel rooms in 2024. So in the year 2024, the 5 largest hotel chains captures 23.1% of the total supply of hotel rooms of Estland. Some are owner managed, while others have expanded using the franchise model. So quick look at them. So you can see the company or the hotel chains names are Westin, Travelwise, Waycont, Yelton and Hyatt, and our company level is not one of them. If you look at the hotel ratings, now guys, our company level has 35 hotels in the hotel chain with 4-star ratings. Out of the 5 largest hotels, just 2 of them are 4-star rated, while the others are 3-star rated. But if you see the number of hotels, now they are massive. They have a large number of hotels, more penetrated in the Estland market. And if you can see, out of these 5, 2 have been expanded by themselves, owner managed, while 3 had expanded inorganically through franchise. So here you can see how the 23.1% of the total hotel rooms in Estland is provided by these 5 hotel chains. In general, if the hotel industry in Estland, if you look at the revenue, majority of the revenue from these hotels are through accommodation services, while food and drink sales have also created a substantial proportion of their revenue. For an instance, if you take a 4-star hotel, around 60 to 70% of the revenue comes from accommodation, which is the room revenue, while around 25 to 35% of the revenue comes from food and drink sale, which also tells us those guests who stay in the hotel would often utilize the hotel's restaurant. And around 5 to 10% of their revenue might come from other services, like where we rent out for weddings, for business conference and events, as well as other facilities like spa, beauty treatments, etc. In general, in the hotel industry in Estland, the restaurant and bars are also open to non-residents as well. So there are people who utilize or who obtain food and drinks from the hotel, but they do not rent out the guest room. Operating profit margin for hotels in Estland is around on average 10%, which gives us the industry reasonable average data. Industry challenges. Now this is the industry challenges of the hotel industry overall in Estland. Intense competition. Competition is very intense. We'll have to typically differentiate to attract and retain guests. But keep in mind, earlier we said our company is basically targeting leisure guests who are price sensitive. Price sensitive doesn't mean guests always go for the cheapest, lowest price. No, that information is not given in detail. So on one hand, we have identified our target market is price sensitive. On the other hand, we know competition is intense, so we will also have to differentiate, provide better customer experience, provide better facilities, so guests find value for money. And in Estland has also been experiencing recently an economic downturn. So this has resulted a decline in demand for hotel accommodation. High inflation has also made people less willing to book rooms. So this has affected the overall industry. And this situation where there is an economic recession is not only in Estland but also in some of the other countries. As we have discussed, there has been inflation and there has been rising costs in the industry related to maintenance, regular maintenance, renovation, health and safety regulation compliance, on top of that high inflation. The industry also has been experiencing staffing issues. Employee turnover is very high due to poor pay rates. So if you look at the industry, employee turnover is very high. One reason is poor pay rates. And another reason is employees often have to work long hours, typically antisocial working hours. They have shifts, late night shifts, early morning shifts, weekends, which has been affecting employee retention. This has affected work-life balance. So companies in the hotel industry have problems in retaining staff and even attracting staff. The demand for hotel chains is not there throughout the year uniformly. It's a seasonal demand. So demand is seasonal, especially for leisure guests. So hotels need to look for ways to attract guests and manage variable costs during off-peak periods. That's a challenge every hotel business has to face in Estland. Revenue management and pricing. Now, balancing revenue maximization will have to be done with careful consideration of competitive pricing. If the prices for us to maximize profit, for us to maximize revenue, if we charge too much of price, the occupancy rates will drop. If we charge too less price to increase the occupancy rate, that is also a problem. So we have to be very careful to ensure that we charge an amount that will maximize our revenue while also having a reasonable occupancy rate. So there's a trade-off here. So pricing has an impact, a trade-off with occupancy rates. And there is threat from new business models. For example, at the moment they are also facing threats from home sharing models, which has substituted hotel room services. We discussed hotel's main service is providing a place to rest and accommodation. Now, there are other service providers besides hotel who also provide a place to rest, like home sharing models. So this has also affected the demand for hotel rooms. Finally, sustainability. Society is nowadays more environmental concerned, so companies in the hotel industry have to be very careful on their impact to the environment. Carbon footprint, energy consumption, water consumption, waste generation, they could influence guest decision on deciding which hotel they are going to stay. So hotels as a result need to find ways to make themselves more sustainable and encourage recycling. For example, business guests are at a decline. On the other hand, business guests are also declining. Businesses are also experiencing economic recession, they are also experiencing inflation, so business guests are also trying their best to reduce the frequency of renting hotels for their purposes. So the demand for business guests have been reduced as businesses are trying to reduce environmental impact and also reduce cost. So they are reducing their demand for two reasons given here. One is to reduce cost, which is observable. The other one is also to reduce the environmental impact. For example, they are now opting for online meetings. Next, we will be looking at innovation and business development, starting with automation and technology. Mobile devices and apps have been utilized in the industry, in hotel businesses, for increasing convenience in operations. So mobile devices, mobile apps have facilitated quick and convenient check-in and check-out. Hotel apps are also facilitating ordering services like reservations for meals, controls room temperature and lighting. Some hotels use chatbots to answer common queries to guests. Increased reliance on technology and connectivity between hotels and guests highlight the importance of data security and cyber security. Utilizing information technology increases connectivity, increases convenience, increases efficiency. However, we have to be careful that there is a risk on data security and cyber security. So if our company is adopting AI, IT, it's good, but we have to also set up internal controls on security. The country of Estland has strict data protection laws to protect personal data. Companies in non-compliance of data protection are liable to substantial fines. So if we are also adopting information technology and services online, and we have not set up sufficient internal controls for data protection, upon any possible breach, we also have to pay substantial fines. It's not a loss. It's not just a loss of money, but also a loss of reputation. So the impact is pretty considerable. Next is about yield management. Use of yield management softwares. So there are softwares to assess and evaluate yield management. Why do hotels use yield management softwares? Because we discussed earlier, there is a need for hotels to find a balance between revenue and occupancy. You increase selling price, your occupancy drops. You reduce your selling price, occupancy increase, but our margins are affected. This allows hotels to use data analytics, including AI algorithms, to adjust room prices almost in real time. Yield management software uses historic information. So historic information on different factors like demand, seasonality. They also consider present factors like bookings done, room availability, competitor prices at the moment, market conditions, to predict optimum price for rooms. So yield management software has made decision making on what pricing should we charge at the moment more efficient and less error free. This is if you properly feed data. When predicted demand is low, it's very reasonable for us to lower the prices to attract demand. And when predicted demand is high, we can also increase the demand to take advantage of and achieve higher margins. Sale and leaseback. Hotel businesses in Estland are typically facing financial issues, financial challenges in this industry. This is relevant to both hotel chains and independent hotels. So to boost liquidity, an emerging trend has been seen in the usage of sale and leaseback option. So what happens in sale and leaseback is the hotel will sell its building to the lessor, okay, it will sell its building and get a bulk sum. And now the lessor, the new owner of the hotel, we contact them and then lease our asset back. So that the company will sell our asset, and from that particular person or organization which bought our asset, who is the lessor, we lease our asset back. So in reality, the ownership is transferred, but we continue using the same asset in return for a monthly lease rental. At the end of the lease period, the hotel company, we the lessee, have different options, different decisions to take. Once the lease period is over, and throughout the lease period we have to pay monthly rental. So once the lease period is over, we can either repurchase the hotel building, or we can renew the lease, or we can stop using the building and return it to the lessor. So here indirectly they have given us information that the companies in the hotel industry, these hotels, are having financial issues, liquidity issues. Industry success factors. Factors that influence success of a hotel business may change over time due to changes in many other factors. So what will affect the success of a business in hotel industry? There are many factors. So when these factors change, the business's success will change. The main factor for hotel success is identified as the guest experience. If the guest is happy with the experience, the stay, that will basically bring about success of the business. Guest behavior and expectations, competitive pressure, as well as developing new technologies. All of these are factors that will basically have an impact on the success of the hotel. Many factors contribute to guest experience. We discussed guest experience is the main factor that is influencing the hotel success. There are many factors which will contribute to guest experience. Number one, quality and comfort of accommodation, hygiene and cleanliness of hotels, facilities provided, quality of service from the hotel staff, security, convenience in processes, as well as location and surroundings. Strong branding, effective marketing and communication, as well as competitive pricing are important success factors, especially among hotel chains. If you look at the hotel industry, in general, there are several key performance indicators, KPIs. Let's look at some of the KPIs that are used to monitor performance for a general hotel business. First KPI is occupancy rates. Occupancy rate is where we identified as a percentage how much of the rooms in a hotel is booked. So hotels booked the day divided by total rooms gives us the occupancy rate. This measures the capacity utilization. In Estland, an occupancy rate of above 70% is considered pretty good. Next is average daily rate. We calculate this as the total daily room revenue, total revenue per day from the hotel divided by number of rooms occupied. So what is the average revenue earned by one occupied? The average daily rate is slightly higher in hotels in major towns and cities compared to hotels in rural or coastal areas. Next is revenue per available room. So here we find total daily revenue divided by total number of guest rooms. In average daily rate, we take the total revenue per day divided by the number of rooms occupied. In revenue per available room, we divide by total number of guest rooms, both occupied and non-occupied. Next is average length of stay. We calculate average length of stay as the total number of nights booked divided by total number of bookings, because some guests will book for more than one night. So we need to identify what is the average length a guest will stay. Shorter stays are less profitable for the company because in comparison to longer stays, a shorter stay will have very frequent preparing room cost for new guests. And then we have guest satisfaction score. This looks at the average of reviews given by guests either directly or on social media after staying in a hotel. It's also graded as 1 to 5. 1 is very poor, 5 is excellent. Measures the quality of guest experience. Finally, employee turnover, staff turnover. How do we calculate? We find in a particular period how much employees are leaving and divide that by the average number of employees in that period. We find the employee turnover. So these are the KPIs, key performance indicators, which is used to measure the performance of the hotel companies. If you look at the industry body, there is no specific industry body for hotel industry in Estland. Keep in mind, there is no specific unique body for hotel industries in Estland. However, there is a public sector body called Visit Estland, which is on the tourism industry. For the tourism industry, there is an industry body, a public body called Visit Estland. Now, their main focus is on tourism, and since hotel is also having an involvement in tourism, now they will monitor the hotel industry to a certain extent. Visit Estland is accountable to the national government. It is responsible for promoting tourism within Estland and marketing Estland internationally. Visit Estland is responsible for improving tourist services and its hotel inspections form. So Visit Estland also provides or does hotel inspections. So it is part of this role by acting as the quality control for hotels. By using standardized inspection criteria, Visit Estland seeks to ensure that the star ratings provide a reliable indicator to guests of the facilities and services they can expect from hotels. Now that is about the industry. Now we had a quick overview of what is the hotel industry, its dynamics, what type of businesses we say, how do they expand, and the different business models, as well as the current challenges faced by the hotel industry in the country of Estland. Next, we'll be looking at the company information. We'll be looking at levels information, levels overview. So countries level. So Levwell is a hotel chain. It was founded 40 years ago. It's not a new company. It has a four-year decade of a past history. The purpose of Levwell is to offer high quality hotel experience, where everyone, guests and employees, feel respected and appreciated, both guests as well as the employees. Levwell do not have standardized designs unlike other hotel chains. So Levwell is a hotel chain. Each of these hotel chains are not the same. It's not standardized. There are differences in each of these hotels. Let's see why. Each hotel has its own distinctive style, often reflecting the local area and local history. So they try to adapt to local situations. Combination of high quality facilities and individual designs attract guests. So if you look at Levwell, they have 35 hotels all in Estland, and each has a 4-star rating, and they are similar in size. They use an owner-managed business model for its hotel. Approximately 80 guest rooms are there in each hotel, and the hotel services include restaurant, bar and leisure facilities for guests, and it's located in rural areas or coastal locations. Majority of guests are leisure guests. Levwell is a listed company and 80% of its shares are owned by institutional investors. If you look at the growth of Levwell PLC, to date Levwell has grown organically. Until today, Levwell has grown organically, where they open new hotels themselves, then acquiring other hotels. Levwell looks for opportunities to increase number of hotels it has. Levwell also has a business development manager who has a key role in identifying and evaluating potential sites for building and opening new hotels. So the business development manager has many roles. First one is identifying and evaluating potential sites for building and opening new hotels. For example, assess guest demand, factors that might attract guests to new local area, level of competition from other hotels in the scene. Despite aim for growing, it closed 2 hotels 7 years ago. Levwell wants to grow, it's a profit organization. Even though they want to grow, it closed 2 hotels 7 years ago because of poor performance and considered no longer profitable. If you look at the board structure, guys, there are 5 executive directors and 5 non-executive directors, including chair. If you look at the non-executive directors, we have 1 here, we have 4 here, there are 5. And we have CEO, CFO, COO, CMO, CP. Now guys, if they ask you to comment on them, again different countries have different corporate governance regulation on the composition of the board of directors. However, we have to keep in mind executive directors and non-executive directors are not the same. The head of executive directors could be the CEO, he heads the executive directors. Head of NED, non-executive directors, is the chairperson who will head the board of directors. So there is a linkage here where the CEO is reporting to the chair. Is that suitable? If that is the case, the chair has more authority, even though he can't make business decisions. He has authority of other areas. So this is something you have to ponder about. The good thing about Levwell is Levwell has 4 committees: audit committee, risk committee, nomination committee and remuneration committee. And Levwell also has an internal audit department. Good job. Internal audit department refers to audit committee. Very nice. It monitors the effectiveness of Levwell's risk management process and control environment. Good. Internal audit's remit includes financial issues and operational issues. So the internal audit will convey information on financial issues and operational issues. This will help them create better internal controls. It makes regular inspection of Levwell's hotel, to review compliance with internal control procedures. Next is source of income. As we discussed, main revenue source comes from guest rooms, room revenue. There is substantial revenue coming from food and drink. Another private event, yes, 5%. Food and drink is important too, also enhances guest experiences. Only guests staying in Levwell hotel can use the restaurant and bar. Now this is something different from the others' practice. Earlier we discussed, where was that? When you look at the industry, hotel industry in Estland, restaurant and bars are open to non-residents. It's open to non-residents, but here when it comes to Levwell company, they have mentioned that only guests staying at Levwell hotel can use the restaurant and bar, meaning it's not open to outsiders. This is a practice different to what other hotels in general are doing. Now, is this good or bad? We have to consider further information. Okay. However, by doing this, the company itself has rejected the revenue from food from non-guests. So let's, depending on the information given in the case, you can consider this as a good thing or a bad thing. Typically, the bad thing is there's opportunity cost. The good thing is those guests who booked in the room, they will have more space to go. They might enjoy your stay better. There's a possibility there. Next is seasonality. We discussed earlier, almost all hotels in Estland are having seasonal demand reflected in occupancy rate and average daily rate charged per rooms throughout the year. So if you look at May, June, July, April, May, June, July, August, September, the occupancy rate has dropped. The variations in occupancy rate and average daily rate are similar across each of Levwell's hotels. Pricing policy. Levwell's head office sets the price per night for each hotel at the start of each financial year. At the beginning of financial year, Levwell will decide the price to be charged from each of the hotels. However, you know that during the peak season, the price rates would normally increase. Off-peak season, price rates will go very low. The room rates are set in advance. Hotel managers have authority to apply discounts up to 25% to these rates to encourage rooms. Key activities and processes of Levwell. One is reservations and bookings. When it comes to guests booking the guest rooms, all booking needs to be done in advance before arriving at the hotel. So reservations and booking are done through website, and some also do this by telephone in the hotel of stay. Prospective guests check availability, price and dates of stay and make a booking. Those who are wanting to book the hotel, they can check the availability of rooms on the website, price as well as dates of stay and make a booking. On Levwell's website, each hotel has its own page. So since Levwell is from a hotel chain where each hotel is not the same, but still you can communicate about the hotel chain to customers. So on Levwell's website, each hotel has its own page with pictures of hotel and rooms and summarizes facilities. Website has integrated booking mechanism. The company's website has an integrated booking mechanism. Bookings are recorded in a single company-wide system rather than each hotel having its own booking platform. For electronic bookings, details are entered manually to the system by Levwell staff. Okay. Now guys, bookings are recorded on a single company-wide system. Earlier we discussed it's better to have reservations in advance through the website. Some might even call. So for telephone bookings, the staff would receive the call and he will have to manually update the system. So we have to ensure that this manual updating process is more efficient. Check-in, check-out, reception. During check-in, reception staff verify guest details and give access to their rooms, typically using a key or key card. Reception staff will tell guests of the facilities and services available in hotels. So that is education there. So once the staff finishes off the stay, at checkout only the guest will pay for the accommodation plus any other additional money they spent on different purchases. Now guys, the good thing here is the staff will make the bulk payment at the time of checkout. So if he doesn't make the payment in advance, when it comes to other expenses, he might be willing to spend because he hasn't yet made the payment. But there is a disadvantage is you are realizing the money after the service is over. That is delay in receiving the money. Housekeeping team. There is a housekeeping team in each of the hotel which cleans and prepares guest rooms in advance of before the guests check in the hotel. And for those guests who stay for more than one day, they will also clean the rooms each day, every day. And they also will keep other areas of hotel clean and tidy like the restaurant and the reception. Laundry services outsourced to third-party laundry company such as washing bed linen, washing towels, etc. Maintenance team. Maintenance team ensures that fixtures, fittings and equipment of hotel are safe and in good working order for guests and staff. The maintenance team has to ensure everything is safe to use. Scope of work includes maintenance to furniture, flooring, plumbing, electric systems, light fittings and air conditioning. Cafeteria team will provide food and drinks for guests during the stay. Next is Levwell has SOPs. What is SOP? Standard operating procedures, meaning they are protocols set for everyone to follow. So Levwell has set SOPs which all householding staff are expected to follow. SOPs identify tasks that needs to be completed in each room. Housekeeping manager for each hotel checks a sample of rooms every day to ensure procedures have been followed and rooms are prepared as per appropriate standard. Reception staff also have SOPs. For example, reception staff have trained on how to greet guests with a smile, respond courteously to guest requests, and inquires to make them feel welcomed and valued. So, in reception has SOPs. So, we have SOPs in many processes of the organization. Reception staff receive regular customer service training. So, to ensure that the service experience is there, the staff that receives the customers, the guests, they get regular customer service training. Now, hotel managers for each hotel oversee all aspects of the day-to-day activities of that hotel. Okay. Now, each hotel has a lot of works, cleaning, hygiene. Each hotel will have their own hotel manager who will supervise to ensure that daily tasks are done. We have a reviewing there. Good. When it comes to employees, similar to other hotels, just like other hotels, Levwell also has a concern, that is the number of Levwell's operational staff. There are staff that work part-time. For example, housekeeping staff, catering staff, they work part-time. Levwell recognizes the role of staff on guest satisfaction. Levwell has identified the role of staff in guest satisfaction. Because if the guest has good experience, he is happy with us. If the guest experience is not right, he will be upset with us. So, Levwell realizes employees who enjoy their jobs are likely to provide higher quality of service to guests than those who are disdainful with their job. Now, Levwell identified to make sure employees commit for the organization, we have to improve their satisfaction. Okay? Only when they are satisfied, they will do their best for the company. Guests will also be satisfied. Employees who are happy with the job will perform better and more productive than employees who are dissatisfied with the job. Levwell runs an employee recognition program for all staff through which they can earn cash rewards or shopping vouchers as a thank you for their work. Staff can be nominated for a reward by their manager or by a colleague. Now to motivate employees, there is an employee recognition program arranged by Levwell. So those who are elected will get cash rewards or shopping vouchers. How are you nominated? Your supervisor can nominate, or even your colleague can nominate yourself. This is an action taken to improve employee satisfaction, because you get the gift only when others are happy with your work. Now guys, let's look at the suppliers and procurement process. So I basically put that in a table here. Let's have a quick look at them. When it comes to local food ingredients, Levwell will try to use local ingredients wherever possible. If you look at the purchasing of local ingredients, it's decentralized, it's localized. Who does this? Who purchases? The restaurant manager will manage it for each hotel. So when the restaurant manager is sourcing local ingredients, he or she will source locally sourced seasonal ingredients and negotiate contracts with local suppliers. If you look at procurement of other services like cleaning products, bedding, towels, laundry services, it's again centralized, done by a centralized procurement team. Again, they have to negotiate contracts with vendors for all hotels, handles company-wide supply agreements. Responsible procurement, sustainability checks. This is centralized, the efforts taken by Levwell is centralized. They have a centralized procurement team who will assess environmental credentials of suppliers before signing contracts. Route maintenance, again this is centralized, done internally. In-house maintenance team is there in the organization. They perform day-to-day repairs, handles operational maintenance across all hotels. Major building works like new hotels, refurbishments. At the moment, It's done by the central procurement team plus external contractors. So some of them are centralized, some of them are outsourced. Outsources major construction or refurbishment work. A central procurement selects and contracts the contractors. Okay. So part of them are centralized, part of them are outsourced. What do we outsource? Outsources major construction or refurbishment work. Central procurement will select and contracts the contractors. Hotel refurbishment style. Refurbishment of hotel is done centralized, it's planned centralized, and every hotel is subject to refurbishment every 10 years. It's done by the central procurement system, which will appoint and manage external contractors. Next is about information systems. So if you look at information system, guys, the activity is IT management and oversight. Who does it? The central IT department, head office led by IT managers. What do? They'll maintain, update and support all IT systems across level, ensure system reliability, security and performance across 35 hotels. So it is centralized by the IT department in the head office. Next is hotel management system. This is an information system, hotel management system. Okay. Is it centralized or decentralized? It's centralized and it's used for local use. Who does it? System owned or maintained by central IT. It's used by hotel staff across all head departments. What do? The co-operational system across level hotels includes real-time room availability. So hotel management system is an information system which provides the relevant services. One is it tracks real-time room availability. So when you are going to book a hotel on the hotel in one of our chains, the hotel management system will provide real-time data which rooms are vacant, which rooms are occupied. It manages reservations plus updates online bookings automatically. So once we reserve in advance, it's booked there, it's automatically booked there. But when we call them, then it has to be manually updated in the hotel management system. This tracks guest spending, so guests make the payment when they are checking in. So the hotel management system will efficiently track their spending on restaurants, spa, bar, etc. and compiles it into a final bill at checkout. Hotel management system also coordinates reception plus housekeeping workflow. Housekeeping updates room status via mobile app. Alerts housekeeping when a guest checks out, so rooms can be cleaned immediately. When a guest is checking out, the housekeeper is automatically alert so they can quickly clean the used room. Records maintenance issues found in rooms and assign tasks to the maintenance team via hotel management system. Next area is housekeeping operational workflow. It's a centralized system, but we use it in a decentralized manner, where the system is a centralized system, but each hotel is managed by separate individual housekeeper. That's why I told it's a centralized system, but it is used in a decentralized manner. Each hotel has their own hotel manager, housekeeper. Updates hotel management system via mobile app. Sets room status, whether it needs cleaning, clean, ready. So this is automatically done by the hotel management system upon the checking out of a guest. Records issues needing maintenance as well as receives alerts when guests check out. Reception operations. Again, when it comes to reception, it's again decentralized use of centralized system. Reception staff are there at each hotel. This uses hotel management systems to check guests whether are they checked in or checked out. Verify room readiness, process payments, check billing, coordinate with housekeeper. Guest billing system, again it's centralized and we get local input. We use hotel management system plus reception team. Hotel management system automatically compiles all guest charges, that is accommodation, plus other services like restaurants, spa, bar spending. The reception finalizes invoice at checkout. So when you are billing the guest, it's automated. Maintenance issue tracking. When it comes to tracking maintenance issues, it's decentralized. We get decentralized input, but it is executed centrally. Housekeeping will have input issues, maintenance team receives tasks. Housekeeping logs problem into HMS. HMS assigns tasks to the centralized maintenance. IT infrastructure hosting, again it's centralized in the IT department in the head office, the servers and other infrastructure. All systems hosted on in-house servers at the head office. No cloud servers or cloud data storage is used. Now, not using cloud storage is also a risk because we are reducing inefficiency there if you use cloud. But there's a risk there. On the other hand, risk of cyber threat, the risk of data protection issues is very high if we are on the cloud. Data storage centralized, again it's not done in the cloud. It's handled by the IT department where guest data, booking data, operational data are stored in internal servers only. There is no cloud computing for hosting or backup. Now guys, this gives us a very comprehensive understanding of what's going on at level when it comes to suppliers and procurement. What systems do they have? Is the decision making decentralized or centralized? Information systems. And next we'll be looking at risks. We discussed earlier, level has all the 4 committees and the risk and audit committee is responsible for overseeing the assessment and disclosure of the company's key risks. Risk and Audit Committee will also oversee the systems of internal control and risk management within the company to help mitigate those risks. So Levwell's principal risks are summarized in its risk register. Let's take a look. When it comes to competition, what are the risks that the company is facing? That is, number 1, failure to respond to competitive pressure as well as changes in market conditions that could reduce our revenue, market share, profitability. Mitigation suggestions that's given in the pre-seen information is, one is board is overseeing the risk assessment process. The company has a risk register, so a risk register will track key risks. Internal controls and strategic responses are monitored. The internal department will develop internal controls, oversee internal controls. So ensuring we have sufficient internal controls set on this. When it comes to pricing, what are the risks that the company faces? Number 1, finding the optimal room price is challenging. As we discussed, the price is too high, frequency is low. Price is too low, frequency is high, but we are losing revenue, which you could have earned. Mitigation suggestions, revenue management strategies. For example, we can use yield management software. They are mentioned earlier, the industry is adopting and using yield management software, which will give them more information and give the company a chance to decide the pricing. There is no information given on whether Levwell uses yield management software and how on. They are mentioned industry uses. Board monitors performance matrix, internal systems support pricing decisions. Look at reputational risks. One is poor guest experience could damage the reputation, resulting in lost future bookings and revenue. How to reduce this risk? Mitigate. Set up quality standards, customer feedback mechanism, staff training, oversight by board and management. These can reduce the risk that affects reputation to a major extent. People or workforce risk. Failure to attract, retain and motivate staff and to embed company values. This could impair service quality. We are unable to attract people. Mitigation HR strategies, training, employee engagement, performance management, board monitors through HR and audit committee. So we can clearly monitor through the HR as well as the audit committee. Technology risks, reliance on website and critical operating systems, especially hotel management systems. And guys, when this information system is disrupted, every part of the operation will be affected because we are predominantly relying on connecting through HMS. So if there's a problem with the HMS, there will be disruption that affects the overall operations. How to mitigate that? Set up proper IT systems management, monitor internal controls. There is no information on disaster recovery plans, cyber security measures. They have not given information. They have mentioned that if you go on cloud, there is risk on cyber security and cyber threats because of data protection violation. So they are not mentioned on any actions taken because at the moment we are using the cloud. Data is in a server in the head office. So our exposure to the online platform is relatively limited. So we have to see in the case, are they touching upon this? Data security and compliance issues. Non-compliance with legal or regulatory requirements on data privacy could result in large fines. On top of fines, it's reputational damage, lost bookings. So how to mitigate this? Set up proper risk registers and have the board oversee through audit committees. The audit committees manage internal auditors to manage internal controls. Data is not on the cloud. Use in-house server. no informed data governance policies, compliance monitoring. Now guys, those are what Levwell is experiencing. Finally, we'll be also having a quick look on Levwell's mission and values. Now this is one area which is very important. The mission of Levwell is to provide an exceptional experience for every guest, every time they visit. So our purpose is to provide an exceptional experience to differentiate. It's not making affordable stays, it's about exceptional experience. So if you look at Porter's generic strategy, they should go towards differentiating their services. This has also been captured early in the industry related information, where companies have, because of intense competition, we have to differentiate. So its mission of Levwell is also towards that. Next is values, guys. Now values are very important. Values are what areas the company plays really focus on. So all companies' strategies, decisions taken must always be in line with the values. For example, one of the company's value is protecting the environment. They can't make a decision to go destroy the environment, cut down trees, improper disposal of waste, because the company's actions are completely contrary to the value. So values are what the company considers very important. So all company strategies must be in line with the value. So here one is care. We take care of our staff and they take care of our guests. I'm sorry. However, in reality, we identified the hotel industry, not Levwell, hotel industry in general have problems in attracting and retaining staff due to two major reasons: lower pay and the working hours are very antisocial. Okay, so the industry in Eston has problems here, and we have Levwell has basically captured this as a care. They care for the employees. Later on, we'll be seeing this data on Levwell's labor turnover. If the labor turnover is very high, that means we haven't cared sufficiently for our staff. Staff are not happy with how things are, they leave the company. So this is one of the major areas you can criticize. First class service. We strive to make the guest experience as enjoyable as possible. We strive for excellence in everything we do. So far, based on the hotel management systems, we had seen how the amount of SOPs that has been developed to ensure hygiene, to ensure good service experience. Positivity. We enjoy what we do. We look for solutions, not problems. Now we'll have to see, is the company actually experiencing problems or not. Responsibility. We act in a socially responsible manner in respect of guests, staff and community and environment in which we operate. Being responsible to society, guests, staff, the employees, as well as the community and environment. We support and develop our staff. Again, we have to see, is the labor turnover high or low. If they are and in the final exam, if they give us information on employee satisfaction, that is also a metric that can be used to assess have we achieved our values to a major extent. We support and develop our staff and are committed to offering them fair reward for their work. So again, fair reward comes. The industry has high labor turnover because the employees consider their pay insufficient. We'll have to look into this. Finally, teamwork. We work together to deliver exceptional service to our guests. Okay. And finally, they have given us the financial information of Levwell for the year ending 30th June. They have given this data. I have basically added certain comments, basic comments, to see how things are. From the year 2021 to 2025, we can see revenue in dollar millions. In 2021 it's 182, it is 229 in 2025. So on average, the revenue has been growing by 5.9% per year on average. Operating profit was 13.2% 4 years ago. Now it is 14.1%. There's a 1.7% growth. And in the beginning, they had mentioned in the hotel industry in Estland, the operating profit margin is 10%. So we are having a margin which is more than the average hotel competitor in Estland. Occupancy was 73%, now it is 77%, which tells us we have been slightly increasing our capacity utilization. On average, in comparison to previous year, on average, there's a 1.3% more capacity utilization. Keep in mind, they have mentioned when it comes to hotel businesses in Estland, an occupancy of about 70% is considered good. And when it comes to revenue per average room, so it's 121 and now it is 136. There's a 3% growth per annum. Guest satisfaction rated from 1 to 5, it was 4.2 and now it has been grown to 4.4. A little bit of fluctuations we can see in 2023. Occupancy is a bit higher, guest satisfaction is a little bit higher, but it's up to you to decide. I don't see these as very major gaps. There can be little ups and downs. And especially they have mentioned recently we are experiencing economic recession, downturn. This could be another reason why we could not have a big gap. And to comment on this, is 4.5, 4.4 good? Again, I can't come to a very objective comment without understanding the competitors' guest satisfaction ratings. How it sounds good, but still you can't comment because you don't know about the competitor or the average industry's guest satisfaction. However, we earlier discussed guest satisfaction is one of the key factors which will influence the company's success. Employee turnover, it was 41% and went to 38, 40, 39, 39. Again, we do not know the average industry's employee turnover, but reasonably speaking, having an approximately 40% turnover, meaning out of every 10 employees in the business, 4 of them leave per year. So typically the employee turnover might be pretty high. So this will contradict with the company as well. Employees leave the business because they find it unfit to work in the business, unfit to work in Levwell. And this problem is there throughout the hotel industry. Major reasons, they consider their pay rates as too low, as well as the work arrangement is not good enough because it affects their work-life balance. Now, in our values, we had considered employees in many aspects. First one is caring about the staff, being socially responsible to the staff, supporting and developing the staff. If you look at the industry reasons, problem with the pay, problem with the work arrangement out there, we'll have to ensure that we consider this issue further. Not only just for ensuring we retain the staff, but because this is part of the values of Levwell. That is something very fundamental. So this is basically the end of the pre-seen discussion, which is our part 1. This is the content of the pre-seen. I have done nothing. I just extracted the information from the pre-seen, put it here. Now, based on this reading, you would have a clear idea on what the industry is all about, the dynamics of the industry, the dynamics of the company, the basic challenges, the risks, as well as certain information of the country, as well as the regulatory compliance requirements and challenges. Now, based on that, I have classified, I have extracted, based on our reading, I have extracted the pretty important internal and external information and put them into a SWOT. So I have categorized those information into internal strength and weakness as well as external opportunities and threats. Now, these are pretty important information given in the pre-seen, which you can utilize in supporting your answer in the examination. Now, strengths, you would have learned of the TOWS matrix as well. Okay, SWOT, TOWS. Strength can be used to exploit opportunities, as well as strengths can be used to reduce, mitigate the impact of threats and the occurrence of threats. Weaknesses are there. Some certain weaknesses will affect your opportunities, so you'll have to ensure how you should manage weaknesses to not affect opportunities and not exaggerate the impact of threats. So here let's look at what strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats we can identify from the pre-seen. If you look at the strength, guys, one of the basic strengths is, now we discussed our company has a 4-decade history. So established hotel business, we are an established hotel business with a 4-decade history with structured operations. There's a lot of SOPs there. This is a strength because it's standardized, because this would improve the service quality, and it is of high importance because guest satisfaction is one of the key factors for success. Board oversees through the risk and audit committees to ensure good governance in the company. There is a strength and the importance is high. Levwell has focus on service quality to maintain reputation. It is a strength and of high importance. We have strong risk management framework. The case has stated Levwell has its own risk register, and the audit committee also manages internal controls through the internal audit. So it's a strength of the business, I would say, and a medium importance. Structured approach to compliance, data privacy, regulatory requirements, a strength, okay, and the importance is medium. Here the actions taken on following regulatory requirements on data privacy is not specifically mentioned, but we have given that we have a risk register, we have internal controls, and they have not given us possible weaknesses on these areas, so temporarily we can consider them as areas that Levwell is doing good. When it comes to weaknesses, dependence on key technology systems, it's a good thing, it's actually a strength. Having hotel management systems, websites, these are good strengths, but these information systems are vulnerable to disruption. Any problem in these systems will completely disrupt the overall hotel management operations. So it is a weakness which the importance is very, very high. Staffing challenges, risk of difficulty attracting, retaining and motivating employees, labor turnover approximately close to 40%. This is a high weakness, high important weakness. Pricing optimization is challenging. We discussed earlier this as an overall industry challenge. You have to be very careful on ensuring your prices are not mispriced, because pricing and occupancy have a trade-off. Mispricing can reduce occupancy or revenue. This is also a major weakness, because we also discussed the hotel industry has a seasonal demand, as well as the competition is very intense. So demand is not stable throughout the year, and there is high competition, as well as there is impact from substitute products like home-based stay. So we have to ensure pricing is done appropriately. They have also mentioned that the industry utilizes yield management systems, but they haven't specifically stated Levwell uses yield management systems. That is not mentioned. So that is also an area you can think about. So if there is no further description in the final exam, since they have not mentioned Levwell uses yield management systems, you can bring that as a possible gap. Reliance on high guest satisfaction, reputation risk if service falls short. If service falls short, this can cause a reputation risk. So far they have not discussed or given us problems, but this could be a high weakness we have to consider if there are any following information in the post seen in the exam. If there is no follow-up information of this information, we can ignore. Potential gaps in operational processes not explicitly detailed in pre-seen. Again, are there any gaps in operational processes? It's not given in the pre-seen. If they have given them in the post-seen, those are also weaknesses. Now, these are areas which are identified as weaknesses. In reality, we don't have information to support them. But if you are given relevant information in the post-seen in the final exam exhibit, you can add them. If there is no information, you can put them as certain possible risks. Okay. Again, keep in mind, do not have assumptions unless the examiner asks you to critically evaluate and probe. Be skeptic, or else do not bring up information not given in the exam. So I just listed them out for any possible further information in the post. Opportunities are factors in the external environment which, if exploited, could provide us benefits, gains. One opportunity is there is a growing hospitality market and tourism opportunities. So we identified that there is a public body whose purpose is to promote tourism. Okay. So this Visit Estland is a public sector body which is aimed at promoting tourism. So they, in their in their scope of operations, part of their scope involves ensuring that the hotels that tourists would be lodging are also having sufficient quantity. So because of promoting tourism, this could expand the future market of the hotel stay. That is an opportunity. It's a great opportunity because again, Levwell's major target market is leisure guests. Ability to leverage technology for better pricing, booking and operations. Example, we could adopt yield management systems, data analytics in this context to be more accurate in our pricing and make bookings more convenient, fast. Expansion to new locations or services. This is also an opportunity. As we discussed earlier, we are not in the top 5 chains. We only have 35 4-star rated hotels. And if you look at the top 5 hotel chains, they have a very large number of hotels in their operations. As you can see here, the number of hotels in Estland has been very high, from 504 to 90, but we just have 35 4-star hotel chains. So there is possible room for expansion. Again, we also saw a trend where larger hotel chains have been acquiring small hotel chains. Hotel chains have been acquiring independent hotels. So inorganic acquisitions and organic expansions have been seen, along with the possible market growth due to tourism promotion. Expanding our branches from 35 current hotels to more is also a possible opportunity to further expand our revenue. Partnerships or alliances to enhance brand reach. We discussed franchise has been one option that is used by hotels to expand. That is also an opportunity we could consider. Whether it fits or not has to be decided. Alright, and finally comes threats. If you look at the threats, guys, one major threat is intense competition. If we are unable to adapt, it can reduce market share. It's a high threat. Unable to adapt on convenience, because we see the industry has been adapting technologies to improve convenience in booking, check-in, check-out, surf for information. Now, technology has been adapted to improve convenience. If you are unable to adapt to these changes, it will affect the customer or the guest experience, and that will affect customer retention, affect our market share. There's a threat there. Economic or market fluctuations will affect occupancy and profitability. So far they have discussed. Recently there's an economic downturn and people are less willing to spend money on hotel accommodations. Even business guests have been trying to reduce their frequency of utilizing hotels for their purposes for 2 reasons. One is to reduce their costs, second one is to reduce the environmental impact. So the threat is very high. Excuse me. Next is legal and regulatory changes, especially regarding data privacy. This could result in very high fines, so we have to be very careful to avoid this. Yes, we have mentioned that we are not using cloud computing services, and we have our servers in the head office separately. So their exposure to the internet has been reduced to a great extent. In terms of cybersecurity issues, this could reduce the threat to a certain extent. On the other hand, not adapting cloud computing again might cause a problem, because we have to see to what extent have our operations efficiency have been affected if we are not in the cloud. Negative guest experiences harming reputation and future bookings. Ratings have been done by guests as well, so the threat of negative reputation will have long-lasting impacts. Cybersecurity threats disrupting operations or exposing sensitive data also poses a high threat. Now this is the basic SWOT that was done based on the insights you obtained during the pre-seen read. So keep in mind, you have to ensure that number one, you have a proper mind map of the overall pre-seen. And from that mind map, we extracted this data. Now these are the unique data that is of more importance, that could be of help in the exams. As you can see, internal strength and weakness, what level is doing good than competitors, what level has not been doing greater than competitors. Again, external environments, opportunity and threats have also been given here. So in the exam, when you are to probe, when you are to analyze a company's problem, when you are to provide suggestions, when you are to evaluate certain situations, you can also incorporate these strength, weakness, opportunities and threats, which makes your answer more comprehensive because you have considered the given information in the pre-seen. I have also added one more analysis just for us to have clarity, because a company has to have a very proper, clear direction. So they have given us the mission, they have given us the values. So let's have a quick check to what extent is the current company's operations affecting their company values. If you look at care, guys, from the information given in the pre-seen, we identified that care for staff is a big question mark, because we have difficulty attracting, retaining employees. They have mentioned we have at the moment level has around 40% labor turnover. So staff challenges could reduce guest care and overall service quality. Now this is a sensitive risk. When employees keep on leaving, that means they are not happy. And demotivated employees, service quality could be declining. On the other hand, when staff leave and we have to recruit new staff, they will have to undergo a training process. During that training process, the service quality might be at risk. Focus on maintaining guest experience. Yes, when staff are motivated, care translates to guest satisfaction. For those staff who are retained and who are happy to work with us, they would be doing a good job. Again, we don't have exact data on this, we just have an average overall labor turnover. We have also mentioned Levwell has implemented a scheme where staff can nominate their colleagues, supervisors can nominate the employees to get a reward based on their performance. That is basically why I captured that here. First class service. From the information identified, the company wants to provide greater guest experience, focus on service quality. So the risk of poor guest experience harming booking is also prevalent. However, so far we have not identified any problems, because the guest experience, the feedback has been good, guest satisfaction has been good. Out of rating of 5, we had, I think it was 4.4. Service quality is a goal, but operational staffing risks may prevent full delivery. Be careful here. These are sensitive areas. Again, we don't have sufficient detailed information on these areas. In the course scene, if the information is given on this, we'll have to keep them in mind. Positivity is another value. Board has sufficient oversight. They have set up risk management in practice. They have set up a risk register. They have set up internal control management. So they have shown a proactive approach to risk management and problem solving. On the other hand, there is a risk in pricing and intense competition. If not managed well, if we are reactive rather than proactive, we might be too late in responding to markets. Amidst this intense competitive industry, we might be a bit too late in taking action. So we have to be very proactive. Responsibility, we discussed labor turnover is high, so there is a risk of staff being demotivated. So we have to ensure the company's strategies, the company's decisions is in line with the company's values. Staff turnover has indicated a possible problem with not being happy with their rewards and not being happy with their work schedule and work environment. So we have to make sure that we get the support of the staff and reward them adequately. Next one is compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. They haven't so far shown any breaches in data protection regulation and any other regulations. So since we have the audit and risk committee, and since we have internal controls in place, we also have to ensure that it also considers compliance as part of their major focus points. And finally, teamwork. Again, we have problems with labor turnover. They haven't mentioned problems with service quality so far in the pre-seen, but labor turnover could be a major point which could be criticized in the exams. So staffing challenges, people risk. Weak staff cohesion may reduce effectiveness of teamwork. And collaboration across departments implied via governance and operations. So the company has used information systems to integrate. Certain areas they have centralized, certain areas they have decentralized and localized. But overall, when you look at the extent to which information system has been utilized in check-in, check-outs, in ensuring that the rooms are well cleaned, kept in hygiene. So this has kept different departments, different employees in the hotel integrate in their processes. It has also increased the efficiency of the work they do. Structured operations and board oversight support teamwork in service delivery. So far, they have not shown us problems operationally in terms of problems in hygiene, service quality. However, you can start criticizing possible problems in the exam. Make sure that you consider multiple aspects. So this could be one of the major pain points or major areas that could be tested in the exams. On one hand, they haven't shown us operation inefficiencies. They haven't shown us operation inefficiencies. They have shown us SOPs are set in place. They have shown us information systems are being set in place to improve efficiency and integration. And they have also shown us that the government body has been having frequent checks on hotels to ensure quality control. So they haven't shown us any problems so far. But on the other hand, high staff turnover could have an impact on them, because when employees frequently leave, that means they left the company because they were unhappy. So when they are unhappy, they are demotivated. That could have an impact on service quality. On the other hand, when employees leave, we'll have to spend time and money recruiting new employees, training employees. So there's a big difference between new employees and old skilled employees. So we do not know whether during this transition process of employee replacement, were there any customers who were ill affected. So those are information that is not yet given. So you'll have to see what would happen in the pre-seen information. However, based on objective data, guest satisfaction is still 4.4. If the competitor satisfaction is greater than us, that means okay, there is problem in servicing the guests. However, if the competitive information is not given, you can be a bit skeptic on this particular area. Alright, so with this comes the end of the pre-seen. So we have gone through your pre-seen more comprehensively. First, we went through the whole case. Second, we did a SWOT. Third, we identified and evaluated the company's current situation against its values. Alright, so with this comes the end of the session. I wish you the very best in the upcoming SBL examination. Make sure you keep these important points in your head when attempting the final exam. You see the task, identify the relevant exhibit, and when utilizing the exhibit data to respond to your tasks, keep in mind the major information and insights given in the pre-seen. Alright, so good luck.